Hey everybody, you're watching Indie Comics Interviews. Today's interview is Macho Dano and his book HIRO, HIRO. It is a great idea. It's a great book. I back him. You should probably check him out. The links will be in the description. And on with the show. All right. Okay, everybody, I want to welcome you to the show, and today we are going to interview Macho Dano, Dan, who is HIRO, Blood of Patriots author, illustrator. What do you do with the thing?
Uh, yeah, so I'm the writer for Hero Blood of Patriots. So it's a concept I came up with through a crazy dream and kind of put it down on paper to work with my good buddy Mutt on this. Yeah,
Okay. So you work with Muttman on this, and he does the illustrations.
he does the illustrations. He also does the we're getting somebody else to color it, but he does the lettering as well.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right.
all that stuff.
Excellent. That's very cool. So where did the idea come from?
Yeah, like I just said, it was actually born out of a really, I like to say it was like a fast food fueled nightmare. I must have eaten something really funky or a bunch of ice cream or something. But anyway, I had this crazy dream, and in my dream, it was you ever see it, like, so in Empire Strikes Back, there's that at the very beginning, there's the droid, and he's kind of floating around on Hoth. It's the spy droid,
Yes.
and I imagined this spy droid, but he was holding up this body, this human body, and he was trying to pretend like he was a human. Like I can't remember if it was like I saw him in a grocery store or something like that, and it was just trying to be a human. And I told Mutt about this weird, kind of creepy dream I had about this droid trying to be a human, and we started just like spitballing back and forth, and it took us probably a few weeks to really boil this down. And that's been over 4 years now that we came up with that initial idea, and we've been
Wow.
working on it this long. So yeah, it came from a crazy nightmare.
That's wild. So that's just wild. So you guys are doing all the work yourself. That's awesome.
Yep.
Um, so is this the first thing you've done? Have you done a project before this, or?
Yeah, no, this is the first, our first kind of jump into comic books. We've both had experience in different projects, not crowdfunding type projects like this, but I've written a lot of stuff before. I like to not to think of myself as a creative person, and some of those outlets are writing for me. I like to create short stories or characters or worlds or whatever, and so I had a little bit of experience in doing some of that. Also, my just history of collecting and reading comic books and pop culture and novels and things like that have, I guess, given me a lot of weird reference to work from. But yeah, this is our first jump into comics. Mutt has been a graphic designer for a number of years and has done some of his own things. Nothing self-published or anything like that, but it was kind of the time. We both felt really strongly about the project, and we both had a kind of a clear vision of what we wanted to do, and we both work really well together because we've known each other for so long. And so it was the right kind of formula for us to get in together and do something exciting. So yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to reading it. It looks pretty good. You know,
Awesome.
it seems pretty like a nice, uh, insane, over the top battle sequence book.
Yes,
What it
that's
seems.
what we're going for. Yeah, that's what we're going for. It's basically the kind of quick synopsis is that Hero is it's an intense action comic book, but the cool thing is that it's about Hero, which is a robot, and it's in the form of like a pack that attaches to a fallen soldier, and so um, it's kind of like a symbiotic relationship. That pack reanimates the soldier, but the
Mhm.
soldier does the work, and so it makes him into kind of like a superpowered undead super soldier. And if you like Captain America, or RoboCop, or Deathlock, it's something that you'll like. But yeah, our goal was to make it very patriotic. We wanted to make it a lot of fun and full of action and kind of a throwback in some ways to some of those like over the top 80s and 90s books that we really love and grew up on.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
I remember some really wild books from the '80s. I didn't read a whole lot in the '90s because I was too busy doing other things.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But in the '80s, that's when I was really like into comics. I mean, Alpha Force, you know what I
Yep.
mean? Yeah, the old schools when they first came out, you know what I mean? I was like, um, there was some that were just dumb. They were
Yeah.
just like,
Yep.
you know, they were like, you could tell that people were writing comics for people that were a lot younger than them. They were trying to write for younger people, and that always annoyed me. It was like, but
Yeah.
the but there were never comics like there are now.
Right. Yeah.
Even heavy metal, which was the coolest of the cool at the time. In
Hmm.
my opinion, in my opinion, in the '80s, there was no comic book that could touch heavy metal.
Right.
You know, uh, but it's still by today's standards, it's soft.
Right.
You know, I mean,
There's
sure,
truly something for everyone.
right?
Yeah. There's truly something for everybody, and you can, for whatever you're into, you can find something for good or ill, I suppose. But yeah, for us, we want, this is kind of like a PG-13-ish book, so it's not too over the top. If there's, it's going to be bloody and there's going to be some, some guts and stuff in there, but we wanted to make it in that vein of books that we grew up on. Once again, like there's going to be some like light adult themes, but it's not going to be anything that a 13 or 14-year-old couldn't handle.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's cool. I'm trying to visualize what a PG-13 comic book would be like. You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's kind
There,
of
mainly, there might be some romance, but it's not going to be. There's no nudity or anything like that in this book. There's going to be blood and guts, but there's not going to be any gratuitous violence, like in the form of like ultra violent stuff. But that's kind of where we're going.
ripping people's spines out and putting it in their mouths, kind of thing. Right?
Yeah, nothing like that. So, but Hero's going to be doing some damage. So you're going to see some blood. You're going to see some gross things. But stuff that like a 13 or 14-year-old would look at, and if they're reading a comic like this, is probably going to be like, "Whoa, that's cool, man. He got stabbed by this thing or whatever." We'll see what happens. Mutt is coming up with some crazy stuff right now. So, yeah.
Cool. Very cool. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I really am. So okay, so when the book's done and you get it out, what's next for the book? Are you going to try and get it into stores? What are you going to do with it?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, I think locally we are going to try to, we're overprinting for what we need by a fair margin, and that is so that we can, yeah, potentially have it in some bookstores. We'd love to have it locally, see if people pick up on it and enjoy it. I doubt we'll get anywhere further beyond that at this point. We're a small indie book, and that's okay. This is mainly this is our seed to get our idea and get us out there for people to see. And we're hoping people enjoy the book and enjoy us as creators, and will invest in us again the next time. And that will in turn help us grow our brand and grow our concept. So yeah, I think some local shops, and then we'll probably do some Comic Cons somewhat locally. We are on the East Coast, so excuse me, it's after 9:30 on the East Coast. I'm sorry, I'm yawning. But we're gonna hit a couple cons up and down the East Coast probably, and try to grow our brand that way as well. And so it's important to us to meet people face to face, and be able to talk to them about the product. So that's another goal and a reason for overprinting as well.
Very cool. Very cool. So let's see. My next question. I actually have a list of questions, but
That's fine.
my computer that they're on is actually doing a update on its own,
Oh
and
no.
so it's like so I'm trying to remember what the questions were. It was a short list. Let's see. So what you're doing next, and then oh, what's next for the story? After,
Yeah.
like what's the next book? What's the next? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we have so what we've done right now is the first issue is a 48-page issue, and in that it's going to be kind of a self-contained story, so that you can read that story and you can be content with the ending. But at the end of that, we have two more volumes planned, so a 3-volume story arc from beginning to end. So the first story will be done. Um, in this issue, for, like I said, 48 pages. And then issue number 2, or volume number 2 rather, will pick up where volume number 1 left off. And we have that plotted out. I haven't gone into detailed writing for volume 2 or 3 yet. I have it loosely plotted. Basically, the story is laid out, but just not all the details laid in, or I haven't even taken a first pass on dialogue and stuff. But that's done. And then volume number 3 is going to shake out after that. And we hope to, this is the plan, our loose plan at this point, is to get volume 2 launched approximately the same time we launched volume 1, but next year. So that would be in April, we hope. And that's assuming that everything goes smoothly with the rest of this campaign. We get it out the door into everybody's hands, and to get some happy readers giving us some feedback. And then volume number 2 will launch. So yeah, we're excited. We're excited about that. This was a success.
When do you think volume 1 will hit the mail?
So we have a target date of fulfillment in November. So that is our goal, is to get everything out within that month. As soon as November hits, we hope to have stuff coming in that first week that we can start packaging and sending out. We have a number of different little perks and things to fulfill. So we have stickers. We have 2 types of stickers, 2 types of patches, and 2 types of posters for various levels of backing. And then we also have the book itself. And then we have some interesting ones. Like I had one of our perks that we did was called Macho's Mystery Bag. And so if you back at that level, then I'm going to curate 3 items to send to you. Mm-hmm. And they're a surprise. Until you get those items, it's a surprise. So I'm in the middle of like purchasing some things for that. I've done some work on one item for it. And then we have a couple other things, like we have people that are getting drawn into the book as well. So we have one backer that has 5 pages of him being in the book, and those are original pages that he will actually get. So we have to figure out how to ship original art and make sure it gets there safely. And then we have a number of other folks that are also getting drawn into the book that have purchased those levels. So it's a lot, and it's exciting.
Like it's a lot of extra work too.
Yeah, it's gonna be November's gonna be real busy for us, but it's gonna be exciting. We're gonna sign them all. It's one thing I'm really looking forward to. I've never published anything, and unless you ask me not to, I'm gonna sign that book. So
yeah, I was thinking about asking people if they wanted to have the signature on the cover or on the inside. Because I know some people don't want the signatures on the cover. You know what I mean? Because personally, if I'm keeping the book for myself, I'm not going to try and like sell it. You know what I mean? I'd rather have the signature on the inside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the signature on the outside makes sense if you're going to try and sell it as a collector item. Eventually, then you see the signature on it. But
we don't anticipate ourselves being collector's items. Maybe we'll be super hot and that'll be great. But we'll probably do inside cover. Is probably where we'll do it, just because that's usually traditionally where an author will sign a book, and I think that's the way that I want people to see the cover, the beautiful cover that Mutt drew and that our colorist is doing. His name's Vegas Day, Real on Twitter, and his colors are incredible. So I want that to be what the first thing people see, and not worry about the squiggle lines that you can't read. I'll do that on the inside. Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with that concept myself.
Yeah,
I actually do. So, how much longer before you guys shut the shop?
Yeah, we have. So 21st, it's shutting down. So that's 10 days. So 10 days, and then it's off for good. And that's just so we know the exact number we need, plus extra to print. And
so 10 days. Today's the
10th. So I guess technically 11 days, but 10 because we're at the end of it now.
So September 21st is the day that the shop closes.
It's closing on the 21st, and that'll also, just for patches and stickers and things, we got to know. So this is so that's it. After the 21st, you will not have another chance until the next campaign, and we'll have a limited quantity of first printings of volume number 1, we think, to be able to sell. So there'll be a limited number, but it won't be a lot. Yep.
They'll have to wait until a compilation book comes out, right?
Yeah, they'll have to wait. So that's the plan, is volume 1, 2, and then 3, and then we want to do a collected edition. So it's just a nice, big, fat, perfect bound, beautiful book. That's I can't wait to have all those sitting on my shelf one day. It's going to be exciting. So
Yeah, sounds
yeah.
like it'd be. Yeah. Well, excellent, excellent. Hey, those are pretty much my questions. Anything that you want to say about the book, like the characters? Do you have a favorite character? Do you have,
Sure. Yeah, I'd love to. I'll give you the kind of the quick pitch of the book. So our my written pitch for it, and then I'll talk about some of the characters if that sounds good.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Perfect.
that sounds good.
So the pitch of the book is this. So HIRO is actually an acronym, and it stands for Hardware Integrated Reanimation Ordnance. So it's a military acronym. Military loves that kind of stuff.
Right.
And here's the quick pitch for the book if you were reading it on the back. America needs soldiers, and death is no excuse. The world is at war, and Russia's red threat is closing in. With limited options, the U.S. delves into the black science of reanimation. But when the experimental technology is stolen by a psychotic warlord, it's up to an unlikely team and an undead super soldier to stop him. Enter HIRO. Will it be America's salvation or its greatest sin? So that's it.
Yeah.
So I love a really good pitch. That was something that I've always enjoyed. That, like, if I'm looking at a book to pick up and read, or a comic or whatever, I love the pitch. And that little 20 to 30 seconds needs to give you a lot, needs to give you the quick hit that you need to get invested in the book. So I took a lot of time to write that, and really wanted it to be exciting when you heard it. So I hope that's what people get. But yeah, so that's my quick kind of 30-second, and it's a lot more. It's a lot more than that pitch. The book has some kind of deep dives into some stuff. I did a lot of research on brain and human biology and chemistry and stuff like that to write this book. So there is some truth in the science. It's not real science, obviously, but there's some truth to it, which is kind of cool.
Right. So for people who geek out on that stuff, they're going to appreciate that you took the time to make it a little bit more realistic.
Yeah, I hope so. I spent way more time than I care to admit learning about the human brain and the hypothalamus gland, and why people go through into these rages and and fight people, or why certain parts of the brain do certain things. And so it was really interesting, and I love doing that when I'm writing something and getting invested. I love a little kernel of truth in every comic or story, or any fiction you're reading. But yeah, it was a deep dive for sure.
Sweet.
So
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like a really good book. The concept is, it's kind of it's a really neat concept, especially if a robot, say if the soldier that it's on gets destroyed, it can just go to a new soldier and reanimate another one. So it just that I can see that actually having legs of its own, that concept on itself. I mean, so.
And the cool thing about it too is that, and you'll see this in the finished book. So I won't say a whole lot about it, but it's exciting for me to talk about. And it's that as the HIRO unit, the robot, as it attaches, and it kind of absorbs a little bit of the person that was there before in that body. So the person that has died, it kind of gets the residue, right, of the person that was in the body before the soul left. And so it gains a little bit of humanity, even from each successive person that it's able to attach to. So that's something that will eventually drive the story, and eventually it will give you it's going to take a bigger role in the book in the future. It's pretty exciting to me, because I do think that it's a concept that I can play with a little bit, and that Mutt and I can really explore, and it might be really exciting to see where that goes. And I hope people are as excited about it as I am. just because of the, and it's going to be a very tasteful way to also, we're going to use it to honor some of the troops or soldiers that have legitimately given their lives to keep America safe, like the true heroes that are out there. So yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So okay, so then I have another question.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously you're gonna, you said it's about the heroes and stuff like that, and that the soldiers that have dedicated, but also like what do you see the book as far as, like, what is your underlined message? I mean, obviously it's, you're obviously, there's the obvious overline, but
Yeah. Sure.
what's the underlined message?
So I think so we have a scripture that we use from the Bible as kind of a basis, and it's there's no greater love than to lay down one's life for one's friend, and that's John 15:13, and so it's a story of sacrifice, and that's a big theme that you'll see throughout. So we took that scripture, and that scripture is about sacrifice, and so we based a portion, like a good portion of this book on that. Soldiers that, like, people that are really out there, they sacrifice for us, and in this book, it was kind of a theme of taking that and kind of amping it up in this way to make it, to bring that out, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, you're putting that like it's almost like I say an underlying theme, but it's kind of like the theme of the book
Hmm.
is you know what I mean. It's obviously it's not the over form, but it's, I see your theme
Right.
is sacrifice. It's
Yeah.
that whole brotherhood, that whole
Yep.
bond, and giving yourself for your brother kind of thing. That's
Yep. Yeah, you'll see that throughout, and in some portions it might be more in front up front, and then in other areas it won't be. But it's not going to be. We don't want it to be overdone or corny. We want it to be tasteful because it's still going to be full of it's still going to be full of action and craziness. Where Mutt's working, he's been sending me designs for some of the we'll call it bad guys that you're going to see in the book, and it's really pretty cool. So
That's what I
I'm
was going to ask
pumped
next
about it.
is what's the craziest thing that's going to shock people from the book?
Oh man, craziest thing. Let me think. I don't want to spoil
No
anything.
spoilers,
So
just keep.
this is not a spoiler at all, but this section that is going to be the most exciting, I think, for most people to read is so we had a backer who spent a lot of money to be a villain in the book,
Hmm.
and so he's been written in and drawn in as a villain, and we're really excited about how that villain came about, like how we were able to plug him in, because we wanted the person that backed this to have some feel of ownership over the character a little bit, right? Like we didn't want them to just give us money and we slap his face on something that we already did. We wanted them to feel like a part of the story. So we talked to him before anything was decided, and that was a big like risk to bring someone else in that we don't know. We know, but not really know. Like we've interacted before on Twitter, social media, or whatever, and we gave him some ideas and he loved it, and he's helped us kind of develop that, and we're so pumped to have him in the book. So that section where you see that villain that we have created, it's really cool, and he's dark and a little twisted, and it's just going to be exciting to see him and HIRO go toe to toe. It's going to be bloody, and it's going to be brutal, and it's going to be awesome, and so that's probably what I'm most excited for sure.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
That's very cool. So, is there anything else about Hero that you haven't like told me that you'd like?
Um, yeah, I think a couple of the characters. My favorite character isn't even HIRO himself, like the robot or the super soldier. My favorite character of the book that I hope a lot of people will be excited about is a character named Boone. And Boone is he was assigned as a bodyguard or assistant, kind of like keeper for the doctor of the book who actually creates HIRO, Dr. Crouppen. And so Boone is a big black guy. He's friendly, and he is incredibly loyal to Dr. Crouppen, who has kind of taken a father figure place in his life. And Boone is he's kind of like a lovable giant, but he is so fierce when he gets into battle and he needs to protect the people that he cares about. And I don't know. I think that he's going to be kind of a standout person in the book, and somebody that our fans are going to fall in love with as a character. And he's going to be funny, and he's going to be kind of brutal and fierce at the times he needs to be, and but he's kind of like a teddy bear at heart. He's like the heart of the team, and so I'm really excited about him as a character.
He sounds like a pretty solid character.
Yeah, I think so. Like from the moment my first draft of this, I had written him out, and I had a name for him, and I didn't have a lot of names for other folks. And Mutt was like asking me about, he's like, why, you're like going into super detail with this character. And I was like, I'm telling you, this one's going to be important. And I think he agrees with me now. But he's exciting. And then there's one other character named Nina, and she is the sister of Dr. Crouppen, who once again creates HIRO, and she's going to be really important to the book too. And I'm not going to say any more about her, but I will say that she's pretty exciting.
Okay.
So she's just pretty exciting. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, that sounds good. See, those are good teases. Now I'm even more interested. This Boone character is not even. He's
cool, man.
Yeah, I don't see him in your pictures unless he's in this one bottom one, but I don't think that's Boone.
He is. I'm trying to think. Have you read the teaser issue, the 16-page?
No, I haven't.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you, the link to it after this. So Boone is in this issue. You'll get to meet him towards the end of the book. So I'll drop that into you. And if anybody else wants to, we have 10 days left on Indiegogo. You can go download the 16-page preview issue for free, 100% free. The only thing it requires is for you to sign up to our mailing list. That's it. It will be dropped into your inbox, and you can read that 16 pages. And that's right before the.
Want me to put that link in the description? I'll put that link in the description.
Yeah, I'll give you that. I'll give you that link. But I tell you what, just since you're gonna have some. When people view this show, I'll just give you the actual direct link. You don't even have to sign up for the mailing list. Just click that link for. All right, that link will be in the description. That's it. You guys get it from Drew, and so it's 16 pages, and it's going to get you into the story, and that is the pre-story for the actual book. So there's none of this is going to be in the 48 pages. You get 48 fresh pages.
Oh, that's the pre-story. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. And then, it's just going to take off from where this started. So enjoy it. Free. It's not colored, but it's beautiful artwork by Mutt, and it'll kind of get you into the story, get you going.
Are you going to include that 16 pages when you put it all together in a bigger book?
I think we'll probably probably when we put it in the bigger book. We would have loved to be able to do an ash can on this one, just like to give away for free. And that might be something in the future that we do just for we can maybe do like the Alterna Press to print it for super cheap and just include it for a couple bucks. I'd love to be able to do that. Because the story's cool. I think the first 16 pages are really fun, and it gives you a lot of the exposition and backstory you need to understand. So we don't lose that in the 48 pages. We wanted those to be full of the story, not full of what's happening. So that's why we did it this way.
That makes sense. I'm done. Now I'm looking forward to reading that. It's a good teaser, and
you'll get to read it tonight if you like.
Oh, I will actually. It's like. All right. Anything else you want to say? I think I hit it hard, but anything that we're missing, anything that'll help people know that they want the book. So.
No, I guess not. Just that if you're into indie comics and you like this medium, support indie creators. Even if you're not supporting us, go back somebody, because number one, you're making people's dreams come true. Publishing something like this that we find really just important. You're supporting an art form that is what Mutt says, the greatest storytelling device ever created. It's better than movies. It's better than radio. It's better than the spoken word. You get visuals and you get literature in one. So you're supporting that art form. And lastly, it's just you're going to help. The history of comics are going to change, and this is a part of it. Like right now it's happening, and you're going to be part of that history. So, if you want to own something from that point of comics history, this is it. This is time to do it, and you're going to be doing a lot of good. So, yep, that's all I got to say. Invest in HIRO and invest in other indie comics.
That's a good pitch for indies. All right, everybody, let's thank Macho Dano for coming in and talking about his book. And when it gets here at my house, we shall open it and make an unboxing video. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Everybody, thanks for watching. Please do me a favor and like this video. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you think of how this is going. Subscribe so you don't miss any of the action. And thank you for just being awesome and being you. Have a great day.